What's crack-a-lack? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. And we're going to be talking quarterbacks, start, sits, who and where to go bye week. We don't have Mahomes, we don't have Cousins, the hot Kirk Cousins, Kyler Murray, wow. And then, of course, Phillip Rivers. He's been so outstanding. But yeah, before we get into that, go ahead and become a bro and subscribe. It's much appreciated, much obliged if you choose to do so, and leave a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. And let's go ahead, let's get underway. Let's talk about start sits with quarterback. We're gonna start with Thursday night game, Indianapolis versus Houston. I got both guys as a start in this game. Deshaun Watson, man, tough matchup, and I know he hasn't looked that great, but he scored 20 points in his last scored over 20 points in his last game against the Colts. So I expect a good rebound game for Watson. And then Brissett, he's got a good matchup. Houston, they're 29th against opposing quarterbacks. So I think those two guys are fine starts. And then we're going to go to Miami versus Cleveland. Oh, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Last week I said the Fitz magic was over. Didn't turn out that way. He played pretty well, but I'd sit him this week. He's 20th. He was facing Cleveland, who's 20th against opposing passers. I just think there's a lot better options out there, just like Baker Mayfield. I think this is the perfect week to start Baker Mayfield. The Dolphins are 26th against opposing quarterbacks, so yeah, I think this is a startable week for rather disappointing Baker Mayfield. And then Tampa Bay versus Atlanta. No surprise, both these guys are starts. Winston, doesn't matter how many picks he throws, he's going to throw for a ton of yards. And I know Atlanta, they've been playing a lot better defensively recently, but they are still 25th against opposing quarterbacks. So I'd still ride Winston. And then Matt Ryan, especially if you don't have better options. Then Matt Ryan, man. You know, Tampa Bay loves to give up points to the quarterback. They're 31st. So I would go ahead. I would start Matt Ryan, definitely. And then I have Denver versus Buffalo. Let's start with the rookie, Brandon Allen. He's a sit. He's a rookie. Buffalo, they're 4th against opposing quarterbacks. I'm not ready. I'm not ready, Brandon. I'm not ready. And then Josh Allen, dude. Tough matchup here against Denver, but he's got a huge rushing upside, and we've seen that. I don't see how you can bench Josh Allen. And then in the next matchup, Giants versus the Bears. Daniel Jones, he's a sit, man. No thanks. I don't want any part of Daniel Jones. The Bears are 5th against opposing quarterbacks. Look what they did to Jared Goff, and I would consider Goff a better quarterback than Daniel Jones. And then Mitch Trubisky, I think he would be a sit. He might not even play. Really depends if he's cleared to play. Even if it's Chase Daniel, I'd still say he's a sit. But like I said, Trubisky's just not a sexy play, and I think you can find someone much safer out there that's not Trubisky. We're going to Pittsburgh versus the Bengals. Mason Rudolph, no thank you, and he might, dude, I know, great matchup. Bengals are 30th against opposing quarterbacks, but he's probably not going to have Juju. Juju was in concussion protocol, and he was sporting a knee brace Monday, so this might just be a run-heavy script. Let's be honest, they don't need to pass the ball to win this game. And then Ryan Finley, yeah, absolutely not. Ryan Finley, I don't know if he scored over 10 points. In his last 2 starts. I know he scored under 10 against the Raiders, so yeah, I don't like it. I wouldn't do it. And then Carolina versus the Saints. Kyle Allen, man. After last week, I can't see starting him in the future. It was just a really bad outing. 4 interceptions. He just doesn't have a lot of upside, and that Saints D is gonna just destroy him, I think. And then Breeze, I think is a start. He's kind of a low-end start. It's not a terribly tough matchup, but Carolina, they are 12th against opposing quarterbacks, so I don't feel good about it. But like I said, low-end start. It's still Drew Brees. And we got, who do we got? We got Oakland versus the Jets, and I think both these guys are fine starts this week. Derek Carr is hot. He's actually got a pretty easy schedule going down the stretch. Jets are 23rd against opposing quarterbacks. I'm down with that. And then Sam Darnold. Oh, man. If you have to, if you really need to start, Sam Darnold's not bad, man. Raiders are 27th against opposing quarterbacks. So, yeah, if you must, then go for it. It's Sam Darnold. And then Seattle versus the Eagles. Let's talk about Carson Wentz real quick. I think he's a sit. It's a good matchup. The Seahawks are 22nd against opposing quarterbacks, but Carson Wentz is not a good fantasy quarterback this year. He's just not. That's just what it is. And then, Russell Wilson's always a start. Regardless of matchup, he is a start. Detroit versus Washington. Let's start with Haskins. He's a sit. Even in a great matchup, I think he should be a sit this week. He's a rookie. You don't really want to trust. And then they're really run heavy anyway, so they grind the clock out. So he's not going to get a ton of opportunity. And then I think Jeff Driskel, oh man, I think he is a start this week. I really like him. He won't put up 30 points again, but he should be above 20. He has a rushing upside. He's had over 80 yards combined in the last 2 games. So I like Jeff Driskel if you need a spot start this week. And then we're going to go to Tennessee, where they will face the Jaguars. Nick Foles, hey, he's a start. I know Tennessee, they're 18th against opposing quarterbacks. Big reason that they have been pretty vulnerable recently to quarterbacks. Yes, there may be better starts out there, but if you really have to, Nick Foles is fine. And then I think even Ryan Tannehill is a fine start. Jacksonville, they're 15th, so they're in the middle of the pack. But he hasn't scored under 20 points since becoming the starter. Just stat. That stat could easily be broken this week, but I don't think it will be. I like Tannehill. I didn't like that I had to leave Miami, but that is neither here or there. Dallas versus the Patriots. Tom Brady, let's start with him because he's a low-end start for me. Cowboys are pretty good against opposing quarterbacks. And the offense is kind of sputtering for the Patriots as Brady, he's been vocal about his displeasure with how the offense was doing this past week against the Eagles. So it's still Tom Brady. He's a start, but he'd be a very low-end start. And then I'd sit Dak Prescott. I would treat this week like a bye. The Patriots are first against opposing quarterbacks. So just, yeah, I would look for another quarterback this week. Yeah. And then we got Green Bay versus San Fran. And surprisingly, I have both these quarterbacks as sits. Rodgers, San Fran. I know their defense hasn't been that good the past 3 weeks, but they're still the second best team against opposing quarterbacks. San Fran, they've been beaten by mobile quarterbacks in those weeks. While Rodgers is a little mobile, I don't think he's mobile enough. I won't feel comfortable starting him this week. And then Jimmy Garoppolo, I think the run game should return this week. I think they might go back to a run-heavy script because Green Bay, they're not great against opposing running backs. They're not great against the run game. So they might stick it out with that. And then we have the Monday night game, Baltimore versus the Rams. Lamar Jackson's always a start. No question. Jared Goff, though, is a sit, and he's been pretty bad recently. His receivers have struggled because of that, and this is a tough matchup, man. Baltimore, they're 7th against opposing quarterbacks, so yeah, I don't feel comfortable with Goff, but that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. I got the new mock draft out as well, but until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.